All right. So tell me about, like, how did you know you were going to become an artist?
I didn't know. I mean, no one knows. You just are, aren't you? I mean, you just do things and then you are. I mean, like, it's not... when you're a kid, you know, when you play with Tinker Toys or something like that, like, you're, for that day, like, little engineer, you know, and stuff like that. Like, you know, do you remember, like, your imagination when you were a kid? Like, you know, because that's when art started for me, because my dad was so into it. Like, he was an artist himself, and then he taught art in school, and he was a teacher. So, and then he was actually, I think I told you this before, he was, like, my kindergarten art teacher. So, he introduced me to art at an early age. I've been going to museums since forever. I mean, and that's part of, like, you know, you just think about, like, that's cookie cutter Bourdieu taste, you know, like, that your family, you know, sculpts the way you think about art and, like, your introduction to it at all. You know, and it actually, like, fosters, like, you know, like, good cognitive thinking and, like, you know, skills in children, like, you know, of all ages, and, like, the younger that you do it, the better. And, like, I owe a lot to, like, just my introduction to it and the fact that, like, Long Island City itself was such an art space, you know, even before, like, you know, development and urban renewal came here, because, you know, this park, around the time that Noguchi came here to use the spaces as a place of work, he pretty much, well, just the history of this place and, like, the infrastructure allows for, like, you know, big sculptures to be made. And the fact that, like, I grew up in a place where, like, sculptors and artists were allowed to come here and do that shapes my, you know, vision of the city and, like, the way that I interact with it, and the fact that I want to do it too. You know what I mean? I want to make shapes, and I want to, like, change how things look, and I, you know, like that large horn over there, I want to see giant rhinoceroses underneath the soil sometimes in my daily life. You know, so it shapes what I want to see when I look at a city, and, like, sometimes it's really sad when I ask other people, like, what they want to see in their community, what they need, like, out of their life and stuff like that. They can't answer because they're like, well, I know they're gonna do this, and it's like, but what do you want? And it's like, well, I don't really know, and they can't even fathom it, you know what I mean? And that's what art does, it helps you fathom it. But, like, there's also a problem with, you know, how the art world works, and that it is so exclusive. I mean, like, just think about, like, how many artists, like, you know, maybe, like, you know, applied or put in submissions, like, to have their art showcased here, and then these are the ones that we see, and, like, for extended periods of time. And it's just like, okay, like, so with the world so global and, like, you know, vision so powerful in places like this and how we live, and, like, you know, extreme urbanization all over the world, I mean, like, this is just 8 sculptures.